Hi, and welcome to the fifth video in our PowerShell with Microsoft Graph series. In the last couple videos, we've seen how to create, edit users, and update them and delete them. Now we're going to be taking a look at a slightly different side of the Microsoft Graph API and looking how we can actually use it to send email. Now in this video, we're only going to be sending email within my test tenant. That is because the trial tenants do have a limitation on sending out, as they are usually low reputation IPs, but we will still be able to fully test sending an email and sending an email with an attachment. We're actually going to do two style of attachments to show you guys how to attach a just text document and how to attach a PDF in that email. So let's go ahead and let's actually get started here. So we have our standard starting template for our just graph connection. We have our application. Now for this video, if we go look at the application itself, you will need to add the mail.send application to send mail as any user to your application. That is the only permission we will need for this video. So let's go ahead and let's also just take a quick look at what the Microsoft documentation is for that send mail. So here we have the send-mg user mail. So in this video, we're just going to be using the SDK. I find that this is already a little bit convoluted with how you have to lay out your body. So I do find it a little bit more convoluted. So we're just going to be doing it with the commandlet itself, and that should simplify things a little bit here. And they do give you some code snippets, which you're going to see what we're doing today is going to be very, very similar. But we're going to be going a little bit more in detail. So this is how they have the attachment set up. I'm going to show you guys how we could do the attachments maybe just a little bit cleaner than what I find this looks like, and will be a little bit more reusable in your own scripts later on. So let's go ahead and let's jump into the Visual Studio Code here and let's get started. So the first thing, we're just going to send an email with no attachment. So this one is going to be the real simple one here. So what I like to do first is let's just create a couple variables to hold our subject, our body, and that's pretty much all we really need in this situation. So let's go and let's do subject here. And we're going to make this equal to testing for YouTube. And let's go ahead and let's do a body here. This is a test email for YouTube. All right, so once we have the subject and body here, now you could definitely add a from field and a to field as well here. But those are going to be kind of handled a little bit differently. And if you have multiple people in the to field, this video isn't going to cover it exactly. But when we do the bigger projects, we're going to be going a little bit more in depth, kind of like the create and delete and update user. These are really just to kind of get you guys started, kind of get you guys playing around with the Graph API and getting kind of used to that. So let's go ahead and let's create a params variable here, and we're going to make that equal to a hash table or an object as always. And our first one is going to be message. Our first object is going to be message. And that is actually going to be equal to another hash table. So this is kind of where this gets a little bit messy here if you're not used to it. And then we're going to put in our subject here. So here we can actually just put in our subject variable. Saves us a little bit of typing. Next one is going to be body. Now here we can't just make it equal our body variable because it requires a little bit more than that. Let's go ahead and let's make another hash table here. And we're going to do content type is equal to text. So this is also where you'd be able to specify whether you want it to make it an HTML email or anything like that. But for this video, we're going to keep it text to make it simple. And we are going to do the content equals our body variable. All right. And then once we have our body complete, we're just going to go on to the next line. and we're going to go to recipients, recipients, and we are going to make that equal to another hash table here. And what's interesting about this as well is, actually, this is not going to be a hash table, sorry. This is going to be an array. So this is where you can specify multiple recipients. In there, each recipient does have to be an object or a hash table here. So we're going to create our object here, or our hash table, and we're going to put email address equals at curly bracket once again, because we're going to need another object here, and we're going to put address equals, and this is where we're going to put the address of the email that we're sending it to. So we're going to be sending it to our test user here that we've been creating these last few times. Let's just go ahead, let's copy that tenant domain name just so you guys can actually see the full-fledged email there. So there we have the to recipient here, and that should be good. All right, and now all we need is the send-mg user mail commandlet. Our user ID, now this is going to be the user ID of the user sending the email. So as you've noticed in params, we don't have a from address here. So this actually will go into our user ID here. So let's do test yt-2 at, and we're just going to copy paste this. I know it's in a variable, but as I said, I just want you guys to be able to see. And then the body parameter, we're going to put params here. All right, so let's go ahead and let's run this entire code here. And it should be working. And if we go into our email tenant here, we can actually see this is a test email for YouTube. And the email that it comes from is the test yt-2. So everything is working correctly here. So as you can see, it can definitely get quite convoluted and very, very messy if you're doing this all the time, which is why in a future video, we're actually going to be creating a function for this to kind of clean it up, make it a little bit easier to use, kind of like what we did in the previous video when we made a mail function, because typically these will be a little bit convoluted, and if you want to make it a little bit easier for you to use in the future, make a function. It'll be a lot easier for you to use. But now that we actually have this all done here, what we can actually do is add an attachment. So what we're going to want to do here is, after the two recipients, let's go ahead and let's add an attachment. So here we're going to do attachment, and we are going to make that equal again to an array, because you can have more than one attachment on an email. And then once again, we're going to put in a hash table here. And then now the first value we're going to have to put in here, we're going to have to put this in double quotes because it's going to be at odata dot type, and that is going to equal, in double quotes again, and we're going to put the pound sign or hashtag Microsoft dot graph dot file attachment. Now all of this is actually in this code snippet here in that documentation. So this is not something you have to memorize. You can just go into that documentation. You can easily find it there. But once again, once we make our own function, you don't really have to remember this stuff anymore. It'll just reuse the same function that you have all the time. All right, so we're going to put name here. So this is going to be the name of our attachment. Let's just go ahead and let's put this as test.text here. And just like that. And then we're going to do the content type is going to be equal to text / plain in double quotes. Now this is where it gets a little bit confusing and where I don't necessarily really love the example that they used. So here's going to be the content bytes here. So what they have as an example is just this little string here, which might seem confusing if you are not used to seeing this. This is the base 64 version of the attachment. So what we need to go ahead and do is we need to go grab the attachment that we want to attach, get the content in base 64, and put that in there. So what we're going to do is we're going to attach this text.text here. So this is a test attachment from YouTube. So we're changing it right off the bat. So you guys know that this will be the attachment here. And what we're going to do, instead of putting it equal to double quotes here, we're going to do a set of square brackets. We're going to put the words convert. And then we're going to do, after these square brackets, colon, colon, to base 64 string. And it's automatically going to put an open parentheses. You're going to go ahead and put another open parentheses here. And we're going to put get dash content with the path parameter here. And what we're going to do is we're going to copy the path of our text file, put that in there. We just do copy path here. There it is. All right, once you have the path here, what we're going to do is we're going to do another parameter. We're going to say as byte stream. And then you're going to close that parentheses here. All right, so there is the entire code here. And let's go ahead and let's run this code. All right, so once we run all of this, hit run. Let's go into our email tenant here. There's our attachment. We got test.text here. If we open it, we can see that this is a test attachment from YouTube. And now if we just go ahead, change what's in here, this is a test attachment from YouTube as second test. Save that, rerun this exact same code. We have the new email here, and if we open it, we can see as second test. So we know that this code is going and fetching that base 64 version of that text file. Now what we can easily do is, what I would do is I would add a variable here and do attachment path. And let's just go ahead and let's copy the path of our attachment here. And that will just simplify, again, kind of how it looks here in the code. Just makes it a little bit easier to read. And maybe what you would also want to do is maybe attachment name here. Let's just go test.text. And we could also change the name here. Again, just to kind of simplify that a little bit, make it a little bit easier so you don't have to go in and change all of these things. And also one last one that I like to kind of put in here is attachment type, which is going to be text/plain for now. And let's go attachment type. And if we save that, let's go ahead and let's run this entire thing. We are going to notice that it's the exact same email because we haven't changed anything. We've just changed it to variables. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take this same example with the attachment and we're going to attach this PDF here. Now you're going to see if I try to open up this PDF in Visual Studio Code, it just looks like a bunch of garbage. But let me go ahead. Let's open up a file explorer here. And let's go into documents, graph, and look at this PDF here. So I just took the documentation from Microsoft, printed the first page to PDF. So this is what we're going to be sending as an attachment. All right, so once we actually have that, so what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to change the attachment name to test.pdf. Now you don't actually have to make it the same name as the names that you have it here. So we can actually do test youtube.pdf. The attachment type here will be application/PDF. Now this might be where you might need to do some research to see what file attachment you're sending will be what type. But for PDF, it is application/PDF. And then our attachment path. Let's just go ahead. Let's copy that path here and paste that in there. And now if we go ahead and we send that over, and let's go back into our browser and into our email tenant. There's our email that just came in. We can see test YouTube. It's not test.pdf like it is in my file explorer. And if we open it, there it is. There's the actual same exact PDF that we were able to send. So we grab that base 64 version of the file and we attach it that way, because that's how all the emails work in the background. Anyways, even when you attach a file using a GUI, it gets transferred into base 64, gets transmitted to the recipient, and then it transfers that base 64 back into a content that is human readable by the computer and by the application. So that is how we can actually send email using the Graph API. Hopefully that kind of gives you guys a little bit to work with. Now, if you guys have a test tenant and you guys try to send it to your Gmail addresses or your Outlook.com addresses, you will probably notice that it does fail. And that is usually because of a low reputation IP. From what I've read, you can open up a ticket with Microsoft to request that to be opened. I can't confirm that. I'm going to try that myself to see if I can get them to open it up to be able to allow sending to outside tenants. But usually that is to prevent spam, because of course anyone would be able to start up a trial tenant, send a bunch of spam and malicious intent, and kind of get away with it because it's just a trial tenant. So that is, I'm thinking, more of the reason why they have a low reputation IP with the trial tenants. And that is it for this video. If you guys would like to see something specific using the Graph API, please let me know in the comment section down below, and I'll do my best to do every single one of them. And also in the next video, we're going to be taking a look at how we can kind of clean this up a little bit and make this a little bit more usable in a function format. And then we can take a look at some more functions that we can do using the Graph API. I will see you guys on that next video. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. Also, be sure to hit that notification bell to be notified when that next video comes out. And I will see you guys on the next video.